Well, we're looking forward to the next Business Barometer survey kicking off in association with the British Chamber and the Northern Ireland Chamber of Commerce. So we've just completed a very fruitful discussion session with a range of business people, employers and business groups about the results of the last survey to see whether they still resonate for businesses across Northern Ireland. And we found that a lot of those issues are still very, very prominent for businesses. It's hard to get people, it's hard to get qualified people, and it's hard to retain people because there's so much competition in the market. One thing that became very apparent today was a need to have better training for leaders and for managers. Northern Ireland is sort of 90+% small to medium sized industries, and within that they're almost micro businesses. So a business with 20 people would be seen to be big. If you go to England, it wouldn't be seen to be very big. So part of the development and growth issues are for those businesses is having managers with the ability to plan for the future. And that's not just in terms of making new products and new things to sell, but it's training your staff, keeping your staff, and then building them into the managers of the future. So leadership and management was a big thing. The whole digital agenda was raised again. In fact, one of the contributors said that every business is a digital business. Every business is a tech business because we have to engage with those tools. So there's something that I think universities and further education colleges can do to support businesses with short courses like micro-credentials to get those skills across. And then the other thing is the sort of green and sustainable agenda as well. And I think there are a lot of businesses think that the green economy is for somebody else, but we're all being challenged with being more sustainable and more efficient in the way that we use resources.
I think today was very important. I think first of all we had the right people in the room to look at something that's of critical importance for our economy and more importantly for our local communities and for society here in Northern Ireland and further afield. But today the focus was on Northern Ireland. The sort of three key elements are: number one, whilst focusing on the students and the individuals, we must also focus on the micro business owners and micro business leaders. We've got to develop them to become better business owners, to invest in their people, to know the benefits of investing in their people. And if we get more and better micro and small businesses developing their people for the right reasons, then those individuals will stay with that organisation. They will help that organisation grow, and that will bring benefits, yes, to that organisation, yes, to that individual, but to the local communities within which they live.
Some of the key takeaways for me today was really the awareness that we know we have a skills gap and we possibly even know some of the solutions, but actually being able to take action and put them all into place is difficult. Particularly in Northern Ireland, where we have that micro and small economy, a lot of those business owners and leaders just don't have the time and the capacity to get into looking a lot further down the line in terms of skills planning and understanding what they maybe need to do to have a skills plan for their workforce. For organisations in Northern Ireland, I think it's really important that we all start to look inwards to the talent that we already have and maybe identify more learning opportunities and pathways, be it using the likes of micro-credentials and external providers or internal training pathways so that we actually grow our own talent within our own businesses. We know there is a big skills gap and we won't be able to bring everybody in fully formed and fully skilled. So for employers, it's really important to look inwards, see what capabilities people have and how they could be developed and nurtured in order to become the skills that they need for the future.
Yeah, it's great to be part of the Roundtable this morning and to see how well connected the Open University is both to government, to industry, as we look at addressing what was clear from the discussion is a continuing skills gap. What really came through for me out of the conversation, and I guess particularly focused on the work that myself and the team is doing, is the requirement for short bursts of training in demand skill areas, and to be able to do that with a really well trusted brand and also the ability to be able to demonstrate that learning through, assessment and these micro qualifications. So it was a great boost to me to hear how important those small sets of upskilling and bite-sized learning is in Northern Ireland. Yeah, so lifelong learning, clearly a really big theme. We're at a point in human history where it's clear that we're going to require upskilling all the way through our working careers and potentially beyond. I think the stat is that for my nephews entering the workplace, is expected they'll have 15 careers by the time they finish work, whatever finishing work looks like for them at that stage. And so the requirement to be able to upskill all the way through your working life, I mean, either in a sector you're going to work in all the way through, or where you're going to change sector, is going to be really, really required. And I've talked for a couple of years about that, in some ways in kind of abstract, and I think over the last few weeks particularly, AI has really reminded us of how much technology is going to change every aspect of our lives. And so machine learning and AI is an example of a kind of rapidly in-demand skill area that we are going to be required to know more about, whether we're working in healthcare, whether we're working in manufacturing, whether we're working in the media. And so the ability to be able to deliver small bursts of learning in these in-demand subject areas and do that all the way through our working lives is clearly something that we're going to have to get ourselves set and ready for.
So I'm really keen to see the results of the survey, the 2023 Business Barometer, and I think that should be published around about June time, because what I'd like to do here in Belfast is to reconvene the group of people that we spoke to this morning, get their feedback on it, but also maybe to come up with an agenda for the Northern Ireland Government here to look at in terms of are there ways that it can help businesses grow and therefore create more employment and help people have better lives here in Northern Ireland.